Let's quickly look at how we can combine some of the things we've learned so far and create a simple HTML form. Now I'm going to erase this. Okay, and I'm going to create a simple HTML form that we can process using our post method. But before that, let me bring that back. I'll quickly like to show something here to show you that what we executed in our last video did actually execute. But if you want to prove that, we'll quickly do something before we get to our new video. Now I just put a HR tag there so we can have a horizontal line separating what I want us to see from the form itself. The name of the input or the input field in our form is username, and in our PHP the tag we're going to assign that to a variable. Now we're going to assign that, let's say name is equal to post. Okay, let's say post. Okay, let's use it all capital, and we'll do something like this, and we'll say username. Okay, now we've assigned the name of the input field to a variable called name. Okay, and right now what we're going to do is we're going to echo that variable so that we'll know if, okay, let's just finish the code. Now we'll echo, now let's echo that. We're going to echo that variable name and then see what we'll get. Now save that, refresh. Okay, and you see our horizontal line there. Our username is Thomas, and you see immediately you execute, it shows you that truly it was sent, and what it sent to the browser is what Thomas. But like I said, you don't get to see it in the word URL. Okay, so that's, by the way, let's quickly get what I want to do. I'll erase all of this and I'll quickly create a form. Okay, let me create this, erase that, and I'm going to erase. Okay, I'll create 3 labels. Let me say label 1 here, let's say day. Okay, that's for label 1, and we'll close the label tag. Okay, now we'll copy that username, let's change that to day, and we can leave the class, we don't need that for now. I'm going to copy this and paste it 3 times to save us time. So we have 1 and 2 there. I'm going to change this to month, just a simple HTML form. Okay, and we're going to change this to year. I'll save that. I'll change the name of the input section to month and year, like that. Now the submit will remain the same, we don't need to play with that, or let's just change this to submit. Okay, now I believe we have a simple HTML form. Let's quickly check that in our browser, and if I go and refresh, we'll see the day, month and year is there. Okay, let's add a BR tag so that it is finally arranged underneath. Okay, here we have BR. Okay, I'll copy that and just paste it a couple of times. BR there, BR there, and there. Okay, I think that's all. And here we'll have a BR tag too, separating the HR tag, so that we can quickly, or we can see the line that I'm talking about. Let's do that 3 times. I'll save that and then I'll refresh. Very good, and you see our form is nicely spaced there. I'm still going to do a BR tag to separate this there, and very good. So now you see our form is there, and we want to process this form using PHP, and our form action is form. That is what we're going to use here. Will be as what we're going to use to process the form will be in this same file, and it's going to be on top. That's why we see form.php, which is the actual name of our file, of the document we're working on, and the method is going to be post. Okay, now we want to add some validation content to this form to enable the user impute one or two things before the form is being submitted, and here we're going to use an if else statement to do some of that. Okay, so let's check back in our next video where we'll start to impute the PHP code. See you in the next video. Now we'll continue from where we stopped in the last video. Our HTML form is okay, so we want to impute some PHP code to add some restriction and more dynamicness to our HTML form. So we're going to start with an if statement, and I will say if that. We first have to check if the form is set. Okay, now is set means if the form is clicked. Okay, let me say more like if the form is clicked, if the submit button is clicked, if all the input fields is set. Now is set means if it has something in it, or if it doesn't have something in it. Once the submit button is clicked, that means the form is set. Okay, so we first have to check if it's set. We did its set function a couple of videos back, so I don't think we have a problem with that. So if it's set, now we're checking for the three form fields, which are the day, the month, and the year. So if it's set posts, okay, it's written like this, post day. Okay, I'll just copy that and make some changes. Now if it's set post day, copy that. So if it's set post day, and if it's set post month, and then post a year, here I'll just change that quickly. So we have our if statement. So if it's set post day, and if it's set post month, and if it's set that if the three fields are set, post those three names of the field. Okay, post what is in the field. Okay, and now what we're telling it is if they are set, do something. Okay, now we want to tell it what it will do in the next line, which is okay, before we do that, let's assign the form fields to a variable. Okay, let's just assign that to a variable. So we'll call the first one variable day. I will say that will be equal to that. Then we'll assign the second one to variable month, and that will be equal to month. I'll change that in a minute. And we'll assign the third one to year, and that will be equal to year. And now we'll quickly change this to month. Okay, and we'll change this to year. Okay, and I'll put our delimiter there. Now what we're about to tell it is we want to tell it to echo you are good to go, else that's a mistake there, just cut that and put inside the okay, you are good to go. And else we'll tell it echo we'll say please fill all fields. Okay, so let's try this out. There's more to come, but let's see where our code has gotten us to. So we'll save this. I'll go to our browser, refresh. Okay, now it says please fill in all fields. Now there's nothing there, So let's fill something. Actually, let's say 2 3, let's say 10, and let's say 30. Okay, now let's submit that, and you say you are good to go. Okay, now that is PHP talking. Now let's still check if, let's add a couple of code here. Now we'll check if the form is empty. We want it to do something if it's empty. Okay, that is if nothing is being imputed in the field, we want it to do something. Okay, so we'll check that in our next video, where we'll be talking about if it's not empty, do something. See you next. Now let's quickly look at how we can check if the fields are empty. So we'll add one more line of code right here. I will say if empty, or let's say if not empty. Okay, and we'll now pass in the variable name, since we've already assigned them to variable there. Then we'll concatenate. No, we're not concatenating. We'll say and, copy that. Let me paste it a couple of times. I'll make changes when necessary. I will say and here. Then we're changing this to month, and this to year. Okay, now we want to do something. We want to say if it's set, do this, but here if it's not empty, then do something else. Now what it's going to do is going to, if it's not empty, it's going to echo you are good to go. But if it's empty, then it will echo please fill in all fields. Then add one more curly brace here. Let's save that and see what we'll get. Let me cancel that. Okay, now I have our form. Now let me fill something. Let's say 40. No, it's not like 45th. Let's say 23rd March. Okay, let's say March 1996. Let's submit that. It says you are what, good to go. Now if I fill for one and I don't fill for the other two, it says please fill in all fields. Now that is because I used the and. If I used or, which is the two slashes that looks like parallel lines, if you fill at least one field, then it's going to be what, submitted. Okay, so look at it very well. Try to catch it. That is how we work with forms using PHP. You can also use PHP to check how to process a contact form in your website. So look at that very well. I'll see you in the next video.